True and scary stories from around the world. From strange disappearances to eerie paranormal experiences, Joseph shares stories that will leave you scratching your head. Stay tuned for more chilling tales. True and scary stories, coming up next. These are just a few of the horrific real-life events that we will discuss in this podcast. We will delve into the details of each case, exploring the motives behind the crimes and the impact they had on the victims and their families. These stories are not for the faint of heart, but they serve as a reminder of the darkness that exists in the world. Join us as we uncover the chilling details of these events and explore the depths of human depravity. This podcast will shock and disturb you, but it will also leave you with a greater understanding of the horrors that can occur in our world. Thank you for listening, and prepare yourself for a journey into the darkest corners of reality.
Welcome to our podcast where we delve into some of the most horrific real-life events that have happened in the news. From gruesome murders to devastating natural disasters, these stories will shock and disturb you. Title: Understanding Depression, Unraveling the Complexities of the Mind. Depression is often described as a persistent feeling of sadness or loss of interest that affects a person's ability to function in daily life. It's vital to recognize that depression is more than just a fleeting emotion. It can have profound implications for an individual's mental health and overall well-being. This article delves into what happens to a person when they become depressed, the alarming side effects that can arise, and the warning signs that can help identify someone in distress. Case study: The life of Alex. Consider the case of Alex, a 32-year-old graphic designer who was once vibrant and deeply passionate about art. Over the past year, however, his colleagues noticed significant changes in his behavior. Initially, Alex began to isolate himself at work, skipping social outings and collaboration sessions that he once enjoyed. The light in his eyes began to dim as he struggled to complete assignments that used to inspire him. This shift in demeanor marked the onset of a depression that would spiral into a battle with disheartening psychological complexities. As the months passed, Alex's emotional and physical states deteriorated. He experienced persistent fatigue, inability to concentrate, and an overwhelming sense of hopelessness. Even the simplest tasks, like getting out of bed or preparing a meal, became Herculean feats. While Alex initially attributed his feelings to workplace stress, it was evident to those around him that something deeper was unfolding.
True and scary stories from around the world. From strange disappearances to eerie paranormal experiences, Joseph shares stories that will leave you scratching your head. Stay tuned for more chilling tales. True and scary stories, coming up next.
Warning signs of depression. To truly grasp the condition, it's essential to understand the warning signs associated with depression that may affect individuals like Alex. Persistent sadness. An individual may exhibit a continuous feeling of sadness, emptiness, or hopelessness that lasts for more than 2 weeks. Loss of interest. A notable disengagement from activities that once brought joy, including hobbies, work, and social interactions, is a telling sign. Sleep changes. Some may find themselves sleeping excessively, hypersomnia, or battling insomnia, both of which disrupt normal routines. Changes in appetite. Significant weight loss or gain and alterations in appetite can indicate emotional struggles. Fatigue. An overwhelming sense of tiredness can make it difficult to function, even after adequate rest. Difficulty concentrating.
Depression can manifest through unexplained physical problems such as back pain or headaches. If you notice that someone is displaying these signs, it is crucial to approach the situation with empathy and understanding. The alarming side effects of depression. As demonstrated in Alex's case, depression is not a solitary condition but often intersects with other mental health disorders. Among them, schizophrenia and paranoia are particularly concerning. Schizophrenia is a severe mental disorder that can occur in conjunction with major depressive disorder. Patients might experience hallucinations or delusions, significantly distorting their grasp on reality. For instance, someone might experience auditory hallucinations telling them they are worthless or should harm themselves, deepening the sense of despair. Paranoia, another potential side effect, leads individuals to develop an irrational mistrust of others. An individual like Alex may begin to believe that friends or family members are conspiring against them or that their colleagues are laughing at their struggles. This heightened paranoia can exacerbate isolation and fear, making it even more challenging for the individual to seek help. These conditions can create a vicious cycle. The symptoms of depression can lead to further isolation, which then intensifies the feelings of paranoia or can trigger hallucinations in susceptible individuals. Understanding this duality is essential for friends, family, and mental health professionals who may be working to support someone in crisis. The importance of early intervention. While depression and its side effects can be debilitating, early intervention can significantly improve outcomes. Recognizing the signs and acting instead of waiting for the situation to worsen is critical. Although the journey towards recovery may be long and riddled with challenges, it is vital for individuals to know they are not alone and support is available. Intervention can take many forms. Encouraging the individual to speak with a mental health professional is paramount. Therapy, medication, and support groups can offer crucial help. Cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT), for example, targets negative thought patterns and behaviors exacerbating depression. While medication may help correct chemical imbalances in the brain, therapy can provide coping strategies to manage symptoms. Moreover, fostering a super supportive environment at home or work can significantly aid recovery. Simple gestures, such as checking in with someone periodically, inviting them to social activities, or just being a listening ear, can help alleviate feelings of isolation and despair. A call to action. In conclusion, understanding depression and its complexities allows us to provide better support for those grappling with the condition. If you or someone you know is exhibiting warning signs of depression, it is essential to reach out, whether it's to a trusted friend, family member, or a professional. Mental health struggles may feel daunting and frightening, but they don't have to be faced in silence. Reach out, speak up, and encourage those around you to do the same. If you are looking for resources or need someone to talk to, various hotlines and mental health organizations are available. It's time to break the silence surrounding mental health issues and create an environment where everyone feels safe to seek help. Remember, just like physical health, mental health is paramount to leading a fulfilling life. Do not hesitate to take the first step. Your voice might save someone's life, or even your own.
Join Joseph as he guides you through spine-tingling tales from around the world, from ghosts to aliens and the truly bizarre. Immerse yourself in the captivating world of true scares. Share your own ghost stories, summon your courage, and perhaps keep a nightlight close. Brace yourself as you tune in to this chilling podcast experience. Remember, it's just a podcast, or is it?
Step into the shadows with Joseph as we unravel spine-tingling tales of the unexplained. From ghostly whispers to encounters from beyond, let's confront the chilling truth together. Facing the unknown can be daunting, but remember, you're never alone in this dark abyss. Are you ready to embrace the eerie and unveil the mysteries?
Welcome to our podcast where we delve into some of the most horrific real-life events that have happened in the news. From gruesome murders to devastating natural disasters, these stories will shock and disturb you. John Wayne Gacy was an American serial killer who terrorized the streets of Chicago in the 1970s. He was known for his charming demeanor and his ability to lure young boys into his home, where he would then torture and murder them. Gacy's crimes were some of the most heinous in American history, as he was responsible for the deaths of at least 33 young men and boys. He would often dress up as a clown to entertain children at parties and events, which helped him gain the trust of his victims. Gacy's victims were usually young, vulnerable boys who were looking for work or a place to stay. Once they were in his clutches, Gacy would sexually assault and torture them before ultimately killing them. He would then bury their bodies in the crawl space of his home, earning him the nickname, the Killer Clown. Gacy's crimes went undetected for years, as he was able to maintain a facade of normalcy in his community. However, in 1978, his reign of terror came to an end when police discovered the bodies of his victims buried beneath his house. Gacy was eventually convicted of his crimes and sentenced to death. He was executed by lethal injection in 1994, finally bringing an end to his reign of terror. The case of John Wayne Gacy serves as a chilling reminder of the evil that can lurk in the hearts of men. His crimes shocked the nation and left a lasting impact on the families of his victims. In conclusion, John Wayne Gacy was a depraved and sadistic killer who preyed on the innocent. His crimes will forever be remembered as some of the most horrific in American history. May his victims rest in peace, and may Gacy's name be forever synonymous with evil.
Step into the shadows with Joseph as we unravel spine-tingling tales of the unexplained. From ghostly whispers to encounters from beyond, let's confront the chilling truth together. Facing the unknown can be daunting, but remember, you're never alone in this dark abyss. Are you ready to embrace the eerie and unveil the mysteries?
Welcome to our podcast where we delve into some of the most horrific real-life events that have happened in the news. From gruesome murders to devastating natural disasters, these stories will shock and disturb you.
Female serial killers have long been a fascination for true crime enthusiasts and psychologists alike. These women defy societal norms and expectations by committing heinous acts of violence, often targeting vulnerable victims with cold calculation. From poisoning to strangulation, female serial killers have employed a variety of methods to carry out their crimes. One infamous female serial killer is Aileen Wuornos, who was convicted of killing 7 men in Florida between 1989 and 1990. Wuornos claimed that she was acting in self-defense, as her victims had attempted to sexually assault her. However, her brutal methods and lack of remorse led to her being dubbed the "damsel of death" by the media.
Aileen Wuornos, the notorious female serial killer. Aileen Wuornos is a name that strikes fear into the hearts of many. Known as one of the most infamous female serial killers in history, Wuornos's crimes shocked the world and left a trail of devastation in her wake. From her troubled childhood to her violent rampage, Wuornos's story is one of tragedy and horror. Born on February 29, 1956, in Rochester, Michigan, Wuornos had a tumultuous upbringing. Her parents divorced when she was young, and she was raised by her grandparents. Wuornos claimed that she was sexually abused by her grandfather and that she engaged in sexual activities with her brother at a young age. These early experiences likely played a role in shaping Wuornos's troubled psyche and may have contributed to her later crimes. Wuornos's criminal career began in the late 1980s when she started working as a prostitute along the highways of Florida. It was during this time that she began a killing spree that would ultimately claim the lives of 7 men. Wuornos's victims were all middle-aged men who had picked her up while she was working as a prostitute. She would lure them to secluded areas, shoot them at point-blank range, and then rob them of their belongings. Wuornos's crimes were brutal and senseless, and she showed no remorse for her actions. In interviews with the media, she claimed that she had killed in self-defense and that she was a victim of abuse herself. However, her claims were largely dismissed, and she was ultimately convicted of murder and sentenced to death. In 2002, Wuornos was executed by lethal injection at the Florida State Prison. Her death marked the end of a reign of terror that had gripped the nation for over a decade. Despite her heinous crimes, Wuornos remains a controversial figure, with some viewing her as a cold-blooded killer and others as a victim of circumstance. The case of Aileen Wuornos is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk within the human soul. Her story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked rage and the devastating consequences of violence. While Wuornos may be gone, her legacy lives on as a stark reminder of the capacity for evil that exists in us all. In conclusion, Aileen Wuornos was a complex and troubled individual whose crimes shocked the world. Her story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked rage and the devastating consequences of violence. While she may be gone, her legacy lives on as a reminder of the capacity for evil that exists in us all. Belle Gunness, the Black Widow of the Midwest. Belle Gunness was a notorious serial killer who terrorized the Midwest in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Known as the Black Widow, Gunness lured unsuspecting victims to her farm in LaPorte, Indiana, where she would murder them for their money and valuables. Her crimes were some of the most heinous and gruesome in American history, and her story continues to fascinate and horrify people to this day. Gunness was born in Norway in 1859 and immigrated to the United States in the late 1800s. She settled in Chicago, where she married her first husband, Mads Sorensen, in 1884. The couple had 4 children together, but tragedy struck when all 4 children died under mysterious circumstances. Gunness collected insurance money for their deaths, leading many to suspect foul play. After the death of her first husband, Gunness married Peter Gunness and moved to a farm in LaPorte, Indiana. It was here that she began her reign of terror, luring men to her farm with promises of marriage and a better life. Once they arrived, Gunness would murder them and bury their bodies on her property. She is believed to have killed at least 14 people, although the true number of her victims may never be known. Gunness's crimes were discovered in 1908 when a fire broke out on her farm, revealing the bodies of several of her victims. Gunness herself was never found, leading to speculation that she may have faked her own death and escaped justice. To this day, her fate remains a mystery. The story of Belle Gunness is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk within the human soul. Her crimes shock the nation and continue to captivate true crime enthusiasts and historians alike. Gunness's legacy as one of America's most notorious serial killers is a testament to the depths of human depravity. In conclusion, Belle Gunness was a cold-blooded killer who preyed on the vulnerable and unsuspecting. Her crimes were brutal and senseless, leaving a trail of death and destruction in her wake. The story of the Black Widow of the Midwest serves as a cautionary tale of the dangers that can lurk beneath a seemingly innocent facade. Gunness's legacy will forever be stained with the blood of her victims, a reminder of the evil that can exist in the world.
In recent years, female serial killers have continued to make headlines. One such case is that of Joanna Dennehy, a British woman who was convicted of killing 3 men in 2013. Dennehy's crimes shocked the nation and raised questions about the nature of female violence. The psychology behind female serial killers is complex and often rooted in trauma and abuse. Many of these women have experienced violence themselves, leading them to seek power and control through their crimes. Others may suffer from mental illness or personality disorders that drive them to commit acts of violence. Despite their rarity compared to male serial killers, female serial killers have left a lasting impact on the true crime genre. Their stories are often sensationalized in the media, with books, movies, and documentaries exploring their motives and methods. In our one-hour podcast show, we will delve into the lives of some of the most famous female serial killers in history. From Elizabeth Báthory, the Blood Countess, to Dorothea Puente, the boarding house killer, we will explore the dark and twisted minds of these women. Join us as we discuss the crimes, motives, and psychology of these female serial killers. From their childhoods to their eventual capture, we will leave no stone unturned in our exploration of these notorious women. So grab your headphones and prepare to be shocked and intrigued by the stories of these infamous female serial killers. This podcast is not for the faint of heart, as we will be discussing explicit details of their crimes. But if you have a morbid curiosity and a desire to understand the darker side of human nature, then this show is for you. Tune into our podcast and prepare to be captivated by the chilling tales of some of the most infamous female serial killers in history. Their stories may be disturbing, but they offer a glimpse into the depths of human depravity and the complexities of the criminal mind. True and scary stories from around the world. From strange disappearances to eerie paranormal experiences, Joseph shares stories that will leave you scratching your head. Stay tuned for more chilling tales. True and scary stories, coming up next.